Hello, welcome to this NAYT live chat. I'm Henry, kind of project manager for NAYT, and this is Gemma. Hello, Gemma.
Hello.
So, hey, who are you, Gemma, and what do you do?
I'm Gemma Woffindon. I am the Youth Theatre Director at the Leeds Playhouse, and I am also one of the board members for NAYT.
So this is a new thing we're trying out for 2019, is here at the National Association of Youth Theatres. We like to support youth theatre across the UK, and part of that supporting is having conversations. So we've got a cup of tea, I've got my clipboard of questions. We're going to have a chat about new writing, working with playwrights, the commissioning process, because this is all new. Firstly, please join the conversation in the comments if you like. Please have a natter, anything you want to ask or chip in or clarify or add. Also, if we absolutely seem to cut out, something goes wrong, just be like, it's all going wrong.
It's technology.
But it won't go wrong.
Yeah.
Excellent. Is that context?
Yeah, I think that's okay.
Context.
I think that's everything.
Cool. So firstly, we're here in first floor in the middle of lovely Leeds.
So first floor is our designated space for young people at the Leeds Playhouse, and the youth theatre is just one element of the young people's programme. And the young people's programme is just one element of all the creative engagement work we do. It's a massive department.
So are you working on any specific projects at the moment? So we popped in, you were just having a rehearsal.
Yeah, so our youth theatre ensemble that meets on a Thursday night are in the process of devising some children's theatre, which they're going to be performing at the Central Library on the 23rd of February. And that is for LGBTQ History Month. And it's inspired by children's stories. So we've just been rehearsing that, just devised work.
What's, at the moment, I know that West Yorkshire Playhouse, it's going through a transformation. It's in the Leeds Playhouse. There's obviously a pop-up theatre at the moment. How are the youth theatre and the young people kind of part of that change and that kind of
So we changed our name at the same time as we started through the redevelopment. So we have the pop-up theatre space, which has a full programme of work. And at the moment, I think maybe it's the end of the run for Christmas Carol. The youth theatre, some of the youth theatre members just recently auditioned to be in the Hamlet Young Company. So we'll have some young people in the pop-up theatre involved with Hamlet. And we are also part of commissioning a new piece of writing for young people with 5 other youth theatres. And we hope that that piece will be performed when the theatre reopens. And a lot of the activity for youth theatre has come to first floor. We have activity at first floor and also in the building for young people. So we're all over here at the moment. Yeah. Great.
We'll probably come to that commissioning partnership project a little bit later. But firstly, what are the projects you've worked on that are new writing, where you have created a script for?
Okay, I've got some props.
Oh,
some
here
props.
we go.
So I joined the Playhouse about, I think it's 8 years ago, and our first commission was Girls Like That, which was written by Evan Placey. I think lots of people are aware of this play. It is now being translated into several different languages, and there's lovely Daisy on the front, who was in our youth theatre. This was a co-commission with Plymouth and Birmingham Rep, and when I arrived in my role as youth theatre director, Evan had already been commissioned. The process with Evan was brilliant. Evan is an excellent facilitator, really enjoys working with young people, and also is a fantastic writer. And we did lots of workshops around the themes of body image and texting, and also looked at the language that the characters were using and whether that felt like that language was true to how, was authentic with how young people would speak. And this feels like quite an old play now, but it's a really popular one because there's great chorus pieces in it, and there is a nice monologue in it as well.
It's certainly lots of youth theatres have kind of picked it up and played with it, but I think it still seems relevant. It's about online bullying, it's about peer pressure, it's about that kind of toxic school environment.
Yeah, it is definitely still really, really relevant. I think I'm really fond of the play, and I think sometimes people are like, can you talk about something else? Because I talk about Girls Like That a lot, because it was the first piece that I directed at the Playhouse, and I think Evan's writing is fantastic. So when I say it feels like an old play now, it's that I feel like I should be quiet about it, but the themes are massively still relevant. And it's great because you can do it with a cast of 20 girls, or you can have boys in it as well. So that was the first thing we did. And then we also commissioned a second piece called Immune by a writer called Depot, and that was very different. Immune is like a post-apocalyptic setting where some young people finish school at the end of the day, and when they're leaving school, they realise that everyone is dead except for them because they are immune to something that's happened. And that was a commission, and I'm going to forget people. Royal and Derngate were involved with that commission, us and somebody else. I think it was Plymouth. Sorry if I've forgotten. And that was a slightly different process because we were able to bring the young people from the different youth theatres together for a weekend to work with the writer. And I think what's happened with the journey of commissioning new writing for young people is that each time we reflect on the process of our relationship with the writer and how we engage the young people in that process, and each time we get a little bit more ambitious.
That's cool. And then the last one of that kind of I think of it as a trilogy, and you, Alex, I've told you this is my theory before. But yeah, so the next piece after that.
We did Girls Like That, which Evan wrote, and then what we have done is we've alternated between commissioning something ourselves and then also doing NT Connections. So the National Theatre commissioned 10 new plays and create a great anthology of plays to work from. So after we did Girls Like That, we did Pronoun, which is about a transgender young person. And then we did Immune. And then we have done several other NT Connections plays. The last piece that the Playhouse commissioned was a play called Zoetrope, which unfortunately isn't published. And it's a play about young people's mental health, written by Rebecca Manley. And now we are in the process of commissioning another piece with 5 youth theatres, which is written by Andy McGregor. Title, you'll have to wait and see what the title is.
Check back.
But I should give a shout out to the other youth theatres that we're commissioning with. So Royal and Derngate, Dundee Rep, Northern Stage, Plymouth and Derby.
Big up.
Yeah. So we are on maybe the 4th draft of that. And we were even more ambitious with the work with the writer because we had a full weekend, like a residential weekend, with young people from all 6 youth theatres coming together to meet with the writer and to workshop scenes. It was an intense weekend, actually, but it was great. It was really rewarding.
So we talked a little bit about how Girls Like That is obviously very relevant for the youth theatre as well as quite nice big ensemble choral bits. What do you kind of want from a piece of new writing? I mean, I guess this is not only as a director in artistic sense, but also in the fact that you have a big cast of young people. What are the kind of key factors that you're looking for?
Yeah. I think that it needs to feel like the play, the language of the characters feels like it's authentic. I think that's important. I think it's important that young people have been part of the process, so we feel like it really is how they would speak. That's a key thing. I think it's important that the play is exploring themes and issues that feel relevant to young people's lives, which feels like quite an obvious thing to say. But also, they should be quite brave and not shy away from things, because theatre is a great place to start debate and conversation. And I know from audiences who've come to see shows that I've directed with the young people on the drive home can have conversations about things that might be difficult because of what they've seen characters go through. So I hope that plays for young people, or any plays really, I think it's the same rules apply. You need a story that people care about, you need characters that people care about, and use it as an opportunity to not shy away from maybe difficult conversations. We just want to believe in the characters and care about the story, just like any good piece of theatre. I don't think the rules are any different. Does that answer that question?
It certainly does.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we need to care. I think it's because certainly an actor cares because they're getting a bit of a wage, right? So an actor in a professional setting has been hired to do this role, so they have to, they obviously have to care. But in a youth theatre context, you have to make the these group of young people who some of them maybe don't always want to be in the room, or maybe have got other stuff going on, and you have to convince them that it matters, and that helps if the text is something that they care about.
In the Playhouse Youth Theatre, a lot of the activities are open access, anybody can join, but when we do a show, we do ask young people to audition because it is a massive commitment. So I think often the young people in the room want to be there. They might be reluctant and a little bit nervous and need to be supported. It's the fear that they won't be good enough, but they do all want to be here. But I think it has to be worth their while. And I think if young people feel like they have ownership over the play, whether it's they can see themselves in the play, whether there's a line of dialogue that they said or an idea, or it's helping them to say something to their families that they can't say themselves, then they're going to want to put the piece on. A lot of the plays that we've done, young people have really cared about the subject matter, and we've linked with different outside agencies. So when we did Pronoun, we worked with Transtastic, which is a group in Leeds. And when we're doing Zoetrope, we worked a lot with child and adult mental health services, and have young people who are service users come into rehearsals, whether they come to hear a read through, look at the set, answer some questions for us around some of the challenges that the characters are having, or they just come because theatre's great and it gives them a bit of escape and they can make new friends. And if they joined youth theatre afterwards, that would be great. And
so we talked about some of the themes were mental health, LGBTQ identities. Are these always kind of informed by the cast? So in my head, when I think of Girls Like That, obviously Evan has kind of curated and written it, but in some ways it's the group that he met with has like kind of were the seeds for that show. So how do what the group want to explore knit together with the text and the playwright in that kind of early process, whether it's on the residential, or the playwrights coming to the sessions, or you're feeding back to them?
Yeah, I think the commissioning process for writers has been different. The process for the recent commission, we put out a call out for a writer because we're keen to find writers who feel like they want to support young people to say stuff about the world, or maybe they feel they have something that they want to say and they want to get young people's perspective on it. I think when you work with young people, there are things that you are passionate about. I chose the NT Connections play to do by Alice Birch, which was called Blank. And that was about the absence of parents. That's kind of the broad theme. And for me, that was something that I felt like I could connect with from my own time as a child. But then also, we work with young people who are carers. So, and sometimes you might not realise there's certain people in the group who have those additional caring responsibilities. But I think I'm often driven by stuff that I care about, and my experience of working with young people, I think that young person would engage with this. And also young people, we ask them, what should we make a play about? And asking them and combining that, asking young people and combining that with our sort of skills as, we should value the skills and the experience that we have in knowing what's going on for young people in the world as well, and use it as an opportunity to get people talking about stuff, I think.
And in terms of that, what's the kind of practical stuff then that when you, as in literally when you're in this rehearsal room, what are some of the exercises that you might do to bring those themes out, or to bridge that dialogue between kind of creatives and they're all everyone's creative, but the
professionals, because what we're trying to do. Someone's come online.
Oh, hello, Emrys.
Evening.
Hello.
It's thrown me a bit. Someone's actually listening. Some of the activities. It just depends what it is that you want to get out of the workshops. So when we were working with Evan, in the play, a character sends a naked picture of themselves to another character. So we did an anonymous box where you could say whether you had ever sent a naked picture of yourself to somebody. And we also asked questions in the story. A character sends it on to another person. Now, actually, the laws around this kind of thing have moved on massively now. So I don't know if young people would be as open as they were in the anonymous questionnaire that we did. But we also asked the question of whether or not you would send on a picture that you were sent. So questionnaires, discussions, setting up improvisations. In the early stages of a draft, I would do a read through with the young people, and we might write down like a timeline of what happens in the story, and then go, the first question is the story clear? And it's like, oh, hold on, there's a big gap here. Where did this character come from? Or where's that character disappeared to? So the sort of real like functional things of it. We would also maybe set up improvisations around what happened before this scene and what happened after this scene. Sometimes young people will do free writing exercises, and that will bring out some of the themes. We get young people to share stories about their lives. And also, when I make a show, I don't really cast young people till like halfway through the process. They come and audition to be in this play, and I'm sort of casting it as I'm going along to see, so we can really explore the characters together. So everyone's got a buy-in, so they're not just, I'm just doing my bit.
Cool. So you brought a whole, like a little mini library here. I don't know if you want to just flag up a few of these. We'll also type these, put them in the comment section. But if you wanted any of these that you want to kind of,
we run a play reading group on a Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. It starts next week, and it's great because in order to find good plays for young people, you've got to read them yourself, and making time to read is important. And so I've just been reading Songlines by Tallulah Brown. Whoops, there it is. And this is great. It's a play about two characters who are friends, who have a relationship. And I'm going to be using it to do monologues from, because the plan is that I'll read the whole play, and then young people can choose which monologue they would like to work on. So we'll all be working on the same play, but looking at the characters from different points in their journey. This is great. I really like it. It's possibly a love story with lots of sort of angst and falling out and that kind of thing. I like these characters. That's great. It's a great play. This is a classic. Jonathan Harvey, Beautiful Thing. If nobody knows that play, if you haven't heard of it, it's a classic about a relationship between two boys and their families. It's a really old play now, but at the time it was very important. So this is your theatre history stuff. So this is a great play to look at for young people. The Playhouse commissions lots of new writing, and although this play by Zodwa, Ode to Leeds, was not a commission for young people, there is some brilliant scenes in it for young people. It's about a group of performance poets who are trying to get to a competition and all their relationships. Do you know it?
I was brought up as performance poets. Let's crack on.
So there you go. This is quite good. It's quite different. I've also, so we asked people to donate plays to the script reading group, and 20 Stories High have been massively generous. 20
Stories High doing a workshop for the North West Youth Theatre Festival in April. People want to check out the NAYT website, come for a workshop with them.
So there is the Broken Beat Collective. Is it Collective? I'm just reading these ones at the moment, but this is a great text because they also use puppetry in it, and there's sort of photos from the process. Blackberry Trout Face, and also Melody Loses Her Mojo. The one, can you see them? Yeah. The one that I'm currently reading by 20 Stories High is called I Told My Mum I Was Going on an RE Trip, which is a verbatim piece. So they've interviewed women who have had experience of going for abortions. And another, I think verbatim stuff's quite interesting. And another play that I'm reading at the moment, and these are both published, is a play called Who Cares? By Matt Woodhead. Sorry, Matt, I've forgotten your name. Which is again another verbatim piece about young people in care. And Who Cares has got if you're looking for monologues for young people, there it follows 3 characters through the sort of the day in the life of a carer, which is it's really good. So yeah, I told my mum I was going on an RE trip. That's good verbatim, and also Who Cares.
Great. And just last thing, I'd just like to ask about like where you are right now in the process with the new commission, like and how has that been with the kind of, as you said, that massive, intense 5 different youth theatres coming together to work with Andy, and yeah, just where you are as a director of the group at this moment.
I think youth theatres coming together to commission something is a brilliant thing to do. It can be quite cost effective. It's also a great way to give young people an opportunity from across the country to come and work together. I think it raises aspirations for young people. It's also great as a youth theatre director to meet with other youth theatre directors and be able to workshop ideas. And on the weekend we went away, different youth theatre directors led different activities. And I think when you're working with young people, you need to also feed your soul. So being in a room with other creatives, your peers, is really important. So the process, we put a call out for a writer. We had loads of people apply, and we chose Andy because we really liked how playful and upbeat his writing was, and he also uses a lot of music. And sometimes plays for young people can be quite miserable. Now, I like a good misery play. I do like a lot of darkness, but it's quite comedic and playful. So we're at the process where we have shared a draft with some young people. We've workshopped lots of scenes, and the writer is currently redrafting. And one person from the collective of youth theatres has taken on the role for feeding back with Andy. So we have lots of, they're called powwows, where you do a conference call, everyone's sort of giving their ideas. At the Playhouse, Jackie Hollis-Martin, who's our literary associate, has also been reading the play and feeding back to me, because some of the things that I will see will be different to somebody else that isn't directing it. So there's a possible in this draft, there's a possible car crash and like a plane crash and things like that. And I'm like, how are we going to do that on stage? Which isn't really the thing you should be worrying about when you're reading a first draft or a second draft. So I'm going to take this draft that we're on to our script reading group to get their feedback. And then I think I will start auditioning, and then I'll get young people in a space and start playing with the text. There's lots of narration in it, and we had a training day with some staff a while back. I just chose 3 moments from the play that are narrated and asked our facilitators to play around with it. So it's just basically pull the script apart. I look for all the bits that I'm scared of doing, that are too hard, and then I think, don't worry, you're not in the room on your own. You've got all these young people to help you. And that was the same when we did Pronoun. I felt really out of my depth directing a piece about a trans young person. And I went on a course with the NHS. We did a lot of work in the rehearsal space around appropriate language, and also being very open if we didn't know what a word was, and not having a go at each other if you said something that was considered as wrong, but also to be respectful. And I remember coming to a scene which was actually about the process of going through an operation. And I was like, I'm really frightened of, the words that are in here and saying them in front of young people. And I just sort of said, I'm not sure how we're going to do this scene. So I'm going to hand it over to you guys a bit.
Place faith in them and trust in them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, try to trust them, not be a control freak.
So thank you very much, Gemma, for doing this chat, and we're hoping to do more of these, at least monthly. So if there's like a topic that you like, can we have a discussion about this? We'll find someone, we'll have a discussion. Thank you for checking out the video. Please check out NAYT's website and upcoming events. Thank you very much.
Woo! Thank you. Bye.
And now to end the live video now. End.